Welcome back, everyone. This is GTA Failure. In our last video, we tackled the second Printworks mission. That one was called Hit the Courier. This video is about the third and final Printworks mission. It is called Cap the Collector. But before we jump into the new mission, we have to take a step back, way back, to explain the prerequisite missions for the mission for this video, which again is Cap the Collector. The prerequisites here are complicated, and there's a lot of misinformation online, so I'm going to lay it out for you by showing you what works and what doesn't work in terms of unlocking Cap the Collector. So I've been showing you footage from the save file that we made back in episode 60, and this is episode 82, so we're going way back to episode 60. And you'll want to note that in this save file, I completed the Vercetti Estate asset. That one is done, and then 4 additional assets. The specific 4 don't matter, but I'll list them for you here in the order you saw them in this video. We completed the pole position asset, the Boatyard asset, the Cherry Poppers ice cream asset, and the Sunshine Autos asset. So the Tommy Vercetti asset, plus 4 additional. 4 is the magic number to remember.
Whoa, all right, lobby phase.
Then in this older save file, you saw me buy Printworks and then do the first Printworks mission, Spilling the Beans, where we messed up some guy's face. So here we are wrapping Spilling the Beans, teleporting to the other side of that green comet. Sweet. And then we're going to go ahead and start the second Printworks mission, Hit the Courier. We zip down to that compound in the far south. We hit the courier, we grab the counterfeit plates. We don't worry about the fact that the helicopter was on fire. It survived, no problem. Possibly there was a cheat code used in that cut. And now the first 2 Printworks missions have been completed. And in the last video, when we completed Hit the Courier, the mission we just did right here, we got a phone call right away from Ken saying there was a problem at Printworks, and that unlocked the third and final Printworks mission. But here we're waiting for that phone call from Ken, and it ain't coming. We haven't done enough asset missions. In order to get that phone call from Ken to come in, which unlocks Cap the Collector, the third and final Printworks mission, we need to do the Tommy Vercetti asset, completed, obviously, and then at least 5 other assets, plus the 2 missions here at Printworks. So in this save file, we've only done 4 other assets plus these 2 missions. So we cannot get that phone call. We cannot unlock Cap the Collector in this save file until we complete 1 more asset, a 5th asset. So in this same older save file, you saw that we bought the taxi place, Kaufman Cabs, and we did the first Kaufman Cabs mission VIP. Big old cheat code there, big bang cheat code there to trivially pass the second Kaufman Cabs mission, Friendly Rivalry. And then here's the third and final Kaufman Cabs mission. This one is called Cabageddon, and once we destroy that zebra cab, it is Kaufman Cabs asset completed, which is our 5th asset in addition to the Vercetti Estate and the 2 Printworks missions. And as soon as I stop, I will finally get that Ken Rosenberg phone call, which will unlock the third and final Printworks mission.
Hey, hello, Tommy, we got a situation over at Printworks. You better go and check it out. I don't know, some kind of mess or other. Things are messed up. I gotta go.
And now finally, I will head back over to Printworks and show you that indeed Cap the Collector is available to us to start. So to summarize, in order to unlock Cap the Collector, you need to complete the Vercetti Estate asset. You need to do the 2 Printworks missions, which completes the Printworks asset, and then you need to complete any other 5 assets. Do all of that and you will unlock Cap the Collector. All right, we are finally back in our familiar save file from the last video, and we'll check out this cutscene. Notice how angry Tommy is. It's because he thinks of Ernest Kelly as a father figure.
Oh, okay, what's the emergency?
Tommy, some mob thugs said they'd come to take their cut. Said it was a Mr. Forello's money. Oh, I feel like crap.
Forelli? Sonny Forelli?
Yeah, that's the guy. I think they were very insistent.
I'm not angry with you. Get him to the hospital.
Tommy, rip that guy a new asshole for me.
I'm gonna rip him too!
The Mafia is taxing your businesses, find them, and kill them. So the basic idea with this mission is that Sonny Forelli is very unhappy with us because Tommy has not given Sonny any kind of a cut of Tommy's growing empire down here in Vice City. And so Sonny has decided he's going to take his own cut by taxing our businesses. So it turns out there are 3 pairs of Mafia goons who are out on the prowl trying to get some of our money. And as soon as we kill the first pair, the second pair blinks into existence. And as soon as we kill the second pair, the third pair blinks into existence. And when you kill the third pair, you pass the mission. The Mafia has arrived at the Boatyard. Indeed they have. So they always go after your businesses in the same order, with the Boatyard first. When we got that message, it meant that the two Mafia guys who are down at the Boatyard have just gotten off of their Sanchez, and now they are running towards that dollar symbol where we can collect the, $2,000 a day or whatever it is at the Boatyard. And once they get there, they pick up that money, and we get the message you just saw. The Mafia has taxed the Boatyard, and now they are currently running back to the Sanchez. You're going to see their old pink arrows there. If they were able to get on the bike, which they won't because I'm going to come down here and kill them, but if they got on the bike, we would get a third message. It would say the Mafia is leaving the Boatyard. But instead, we get the message, you've capped the collectors, more are on their way. I thought I was going to get busted for sure, even though I am a fellow officer of the law, so we'll just run out here a little bit and continue on. And you can see there's a new purple-ish square on the map. That is the second pair of Mafia goons, and they are right now headed towards Sunshine Autos. That's always the second place once the Boatyard has been taxed. You can see the message there. The Mafia has arrived at the car showroom, but they never got to that dollar sign, the one in front of me right here, so we didn't get the message saying that they have taxed the car showroom. But we did get the message that you've capped the collectors, so here we are going for the third guys. They were headed to the car showroom again because that place never got taxed, but I intercepted them before they got there and took him out. Mission pass $30,000. Moving on to fail states and quirks. There's only one fail state for this mission other than usual dying or getting busted, and that's to let the collectors tax all of your businesses. I'll give you the complete list at the end of this attempt, but let me tell you that it took a solid 12 minutes for these guys to fail me on this mission. It's the longest, slowest fail I've ever had. Here you can see the driver is going to go run over to the bike after he crashed it. The passenger is waiting patiently on the road. Once the driver gets the bike, the passenger says, okay, let's go. And the driver says, nope, you're on your own. But still, the passenger is committed to the cause and shoots at me and busts my tire as I drive past. Okay, so I cut out the part where they taxed the Boatyard right at the very beginning, and now we're going to show you this kind of slow chase because the NPC driver is not all that skilled at driving. But we're heading over to the second destination, which for me was always the Sunshine Autos, and then I will get closer to the Sunshine Autos as he gets off his bike, and I'll show you he is heading for and collecting that dollar sign logo. Additionally, I'll play you some dialogue unique to this mission.
It's the Hardwood Butcher. You're gonna die, Vicente.
Do that.
You know the rules, Vicente.
I've never heard any of this dialogue before. I've never actually even seen the collectors come over here to Sunshine Autos because I've already passed the mission by this point, but pretty cool. Okay, where to next, bud? We're just doing like a follow the leader kind of thing here. All right, make a left on the main road and then... All right, are you kidding me? Why are we going across a bridge? All right, we're going to skip this drive, gang. It was long and slow, but eventually he wiped out, and we'll play some more unique dialogue for you as he shoots at us.
Morelli sends his yards. We'll keep coming after you until you die. You don't stand a chance, you some kind of prick. Think you can take me down for city? I'll murder you. You always wearing jewelry.
So I waited here a while longer. He ran out of lines well before he ran out of ammo. In fact, I don't know if he was ever going to run out of ammo, but I ran out of patience, so I got out of his range. And as soon as I did, he got back on his bike, and he's heading to the next asset to tax. Where do you think he's going, gang? He's actually pretty close to the destination at this point, and he is going to yoink my money over at the Malibu Club. The Mafia has arrived at the Malibu, and you see that dollar sign, and now you don't. The Mafia has taxed the Malibu. Okay, and then we will continue following, but again, I'm going to cut a bunch of this drive. Eventually, he takes me back over to the Western Island, this time via the bridge to Starfish Island. And we are real close now to the next place to be taxed. And it is the ice cream place. The Mafia has arrived. And then there goes the dollar sign. The Mafia has taxed the ice cream factory. Again, this mission started at something like 8 a.m. So we are now, 8 minutes in? I still haven't failed yet. This has got to be the longest, slowest fail in the game. Is there another mission where you can fail after, like, longer? Like, naturally. I mean, like, not artificially by doing some funny business, but, like, is the game designed to fail you this slowly in any other mission? So this guy has taxed a bunch of my assets, and as he passes me and follows the bend to the right, eventually he's going to smack into a tree or car and die, and then I'm going to get credit for capping the collectors, and that will activate the next pair. Surprisingly, there's only one asset left for them to tax in this fail attempt, and it's the film studio, but I guess the guys in the far north aren't going to wake up and head towards the film studio until I get close to them. So I'll just run through the assets that got taxed on this particular attempt. It started at the Boatyard, then went over to Sunshine Autos, followed by the Malibu Club on the Eastern Island. Then we came back here to the Western Island and did Cherry Poppers, followed by Kaufman Cabs, and then finally we'll wrap up eventually at the film studio. But there are also some assets that didn't get taxed in this attempt. I don't know that they ever do. I'm just not sure. I spent too long recording footage for this episode as it is, so I don't have the heart to go test anymore. But the Versetti estate was not taxed. The Pole Position Club was not taxed. I read on the wiki that the Pole Position Club is never taxed. Printworks was not taxed, and Phil's Place was not taxed. So all these guys need to do is get off their bike and walk over to the film studio $ icon, and then it's mission fail. But I think I was like so close to them that they wanted to get off and shoot me, but I was in a vehicle, so maybe they weren't programmed to do anything in that case. And so anyway, we're going to kind of like play patty cake with these guys for the next couple of minutes, and eventually they will both die, and we'll get the third pair of collectors to come down here and finally get me to fail this mission by taxing the film studio. In the meantime, I'll share some stuff about this mission from the wiki. So as we saw, passing this mission awards $30,000, which is very close to the top in terms of money awarded for completing any of the story missions here. So tied for the tops is $50,000 for passing the mission Rub Out. That's the one where we took over Diaz's mansion. Or passing the mission The Job. That was the one where we did the big culminating bank job mission. So those two are both $50,000 tied for the top. And then this mission here is tied for second place with the final mission, the one that we haven't done yet, Keep Your Friends Close, which also awards $30,000. Passing this mission unlocks the final story mission of the game. Again, that one is called Keep Your Friends Close. It will officially be unlocked when we take a post-mission phone call after this mission from Lance Vance.
You tell Sonny, stay away. My city is mine now, not his.
As you just heard, Tommy has some of his own mission-specific dialogue. So the third pair of collectors is on the minimap, but I don't think they'll start moving until I get close to them, so let me go wake them up, and then they will come over here and be the ones to tax the film studio, which will eventually fail the mission. Reading from the trivia section of the wiki for this mission, the collectors in this mission have the same character models as Harry and Lee. Who the heck are Harry and Lee? Well, these are two characters that we saw way back when in the very first episode of this video series. They were in one of the opening cutscenes. If you recall, the main plot of this game revolves around a drug deal gone wrong that we saw in the opening cutscene way back. And so here in this screenshot from that cutscene, you can see that on the left is Victor Vance. He's the one providing the drugs. Tommy was sent down here with a couple of Forelli family members, these two guys on either side of Tommy, to exchange Sonny Forelli's money for Victor Vance's drugs. The drug deal went south. 3 of the 4 guys in this picture died during this opening cutscene. Obviously, Tommy had to survive. The guy in the light blue shirt is Harry, and then the guy on the far right-hand side of the screen with the flowered shirt is Lee. Again, both of those guys died as well during this cutscene. And here's a screenshot from the mission we're currently doing, Cap the Collectors, and you can see Harry in his light blue shirt in the front, and Lee in his flowered, darker colored shirt in the back. So these guys were in the opening cutscene, and here they are again, or at least their models are here again, in the second to last mission of the entire game. And here we are, wrapping up my attempt to fail this mission in the only fail state possible. Again, this attempt took just under 12 minutes, but you could see it wasn't ideal, right? Like the second pair of guys got stuck. The first guy died just by smacking into cars and trees and things like that repeatedly. So I don't know, under ideal conditions, maybe you could fail this thing in 8 minutes. Can you think of any other mission in Vice City where it takes longer to fail naturally than this mission right here? I can't think of anything, but let us know in the comments if you have any other missions that you think rival this one in terms of how long it takes to fail. My goodness, gang, how bad must you be at Vice City if you fail this mission? Oof. Okay, Mafia has mercifully arrived at the film studio. The Mafia has taxed the film studio. We have failed the mission. So the two guys come out, and then they despawn, and then there's... I'm just going to drive over. I don't know why there are 2 bikes. Oh, I guess I do know why. One of them is the bike from the previous pair of guys. Look how nicely aligned those two parallel parked bikes are. Sweet. And you can see the $ icon is here, but it's only got $73 for us, and that's because it just started over, right? Like these guys picked up the money that was here. It was at the maximum amount, which was $7,000, and then the count up had to start back over at $0, and now we get a measly $73. One challenge I thought of for this mission was to try to prevent the collectors from taxing the Boatyard. Now, the Boatyard is the very first place that they go, and it's pretty darn far south, and they've got a massive head start. And in all of my speedrunning attempts, I never prevented them from taxing the Boatyard. I would just kill them shortly after they had taxed the Boatyard. But we've got a hunter, and the hunter is slow to get up to top speed, but once it gets there, it cruises. And so the guys have arrived, but fortunately they park in a pretty bad place. It's far from the $, so can we get them right before they get to the $? Yes, we can. We've capped the collectors, and more are on the way. Okay, let's just skip ahead to the second pair. And those guys are on fire. Oh, but still making excellent time. You got to admire the hustle on that pair. Okay, and then what's behind door number 3? It's another pair of collectors, and oh, they are crafty. They are eluding me, gang. We gotta save. We have to save, or we're out of control. Lots of things are happening here. All right, they're on fire. We're on fire. I tried jumping out. No good. I did blow up a $50 million military helicopter, but we saved the $2,000 that was going to be collected at the Boatyard. So now we move on to my challenge for this mission. As you can see, I have 6 stars, but I'm going to put an additional restriction on this attempt. I am not going to shoot at the collectors or their bike. I'm not going to run into the collectors or their bike should I ever manage to actually find a vehicle of my own. So while we watch me run for my life, let's go ahead and rate all 3 of the Printworks missions, since this is the final one here. So the first Printworks mission was called Spill the Beans. That was where we had to go onto the ship and then mess up the guy's face and get the information about the counterfeit plates. That was pretty fun. I think it's kind of annoying, the drive that you have to do from the Malibu Club all the way over to the ship. I do appreciate that they give you the trip skip from the Printworks over to the Malibu Club. Wish they would have sprinkled that throughout the game, you know, like maybe from the mid-game onwards. That would have been helpful. We'll give Spilling the Beans a 7 out of 10. It's pretty cool that the culmination of this mission happens on a boat, like high up on a boat. The guys that you're fighting, the pig guards, they've got some pretty powerful artillery, so there's a good challenge there. 7 out of 10 on that one. Then the last video, we did the mission Hit the Courier, where we had to go steal the plates from that all-female gang down in the far south of this island. That's a 9 out of 10. Really, really cool. You gotta speed your way from Printworks down to that compound in the far south in order to get there roughly when the helicopter gets there. It's kind of a short time frame unless you have a really fast vehicle. And then you fight your way through all the folks in the gang, and then you shoot the woman with the plates, and then maybe you're lucky enough to grab the helicopter. Otherwise, you've got several star wanted level probably trying to get back to Printworks. 9 out of 10 on that one. That one's a lot of fun. The challenge is going pretty well so far. I've only lost 9 hit points. I haven't gotten any of the collectors killed yet. In fact, this first pair was kind of stuck, so I decided I needed to get off-road for my own safety and then see what was happening with them. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes they just didn't know what to do anymore. There's a bike right there, but they're just frozen. So I got out to take a closer look, and then, yep, perfect. Mission accomplished. I have capped the collectors. You hear that, gang? I have capped the collectors. More are on their way. Let's go. All right, back to rating Printworks missions. And then finally, this mission right here, Cap the Collector. I don't think I can go higher than 7 out of 10. It's fine. The mission is fine. From a casual gamer's perspective, as long as you're armed with a fast vehicle and some drive-by ammo, it shouldn't be too difficult to just ram into the, 3 different pairs of guys on the Sanchez's, or just drive by them and take them out pretty quickly. So probably not too difficult for the casual gamer once they understand the route. From a speedrunning perspective, it's a pretty boring mission. I just go down to the Boatyard and I take out those 2 guys, and then I drive up north on that main north-south road on the far east side of this western island, and I just smack into the other 2 pairs. And it's a lot of driving, not a lot of action for me as a speedrunner. There's actually a really cool speedrunning strat, which I've never tried, but if you haven't completed the Boatyard asset, but you've completed the Cherry Poppers asset, I think that the collectors will first go to the Cherry Poppers location, and right when you come out of the cutscene at the start of this mission, they are essentially there. They are at the Cherry Poppers location and in a fixed position and not moving. And it turns out that When you use bullets in this game, the game doesn't check to see if there are buildings between you and the target. The bullet just flies, in a straight line. And you can take advantage of that as a speedrunner. You can do a very precise setup right after you get control out of the cutscene of this mission, where you aim at a specific pixel, like on a random wall, but pointing exactly in the direction of where these guys are hanging out, collecting your money over at the cherry poppers. And if you have your pixel right, you can just shoot them and kill them right there before they even know what hit them. And then you just hop into your vehicle and drive north from the Printworks to take out the other two pairs of guys. So we'll say 7 out of 10 here on Cap the Collector. And keep your eyes on the Collector. Boom! Eat some of that tank right there. Oh, how did that taste? Okay, I've capped another pair of collectors. Actually, there was only one guy on that bike. I don't know what happened to the other guy that was supposed to be on the bike. But now we head north and see if we can take out this last pair. The strategy I came up with for taking out these last guys is maybe controversial, but remember what I said my restriction was. I am not going to shoot the collectors or their bikes. I'm not going to run into the collectors or their bikes, and I am going to stick with that restriction, but you can decide whether or not this particular challenge pass gets an asterisk. And so we're going to average the 3 missions here. There's a 7, and a 9. We are going to give Ernest Kelly an 8 out of 10 as a mission giver. Sweet old man who wouldn't harm a fly, although he has been counterfeiting money for years. And since Ernest Kelly is our last mission giver, we've already rated Tommy Vercetti. He got a 10 out of 10, obviously, as a mission giver. And this coming mission, the last one in the game, is also a Tommy mission. We'll give that mission a 10 out of 10 preemptively. But it seems like this is a good time for us to just run through the grades that I gave to all of the mission givers in this game. Worst ones first. So the pole position, I don't know who we should call the mission giver. I guess the woman doing the private striptease at the very end in the cowboy outfit. 1 out of 10. Terrible. Tied for 1 out of 10 is the woman at Cherry Poppers, Maud Hansen. She's crazy, and the mission distribution is awful. 1 out of 10. And then the other 1 out of 10 is the Boatyard, those two stoners, Dwayne and Jethro, and that terrible, terrible boat mission, Checkpoint Charlie. I think the Rockstar programmers must have been stoned when they made that one. 1 out of 10 for the Boatyard. Then we have a massive jump in quality to the rest of the mission givers. So a 5 out of 10 goes to Ken Rosenberg. Nice job, Ken. 3 folks tied for 6 out of 10. We had Avery Carrington, Love Fist, and Phil Cassidy. And now coming back to the challenge attempt, the guys on the Sanchez are stuck. Somehow this military vehicle to my left caught on fire, and now it's going to blow up, and that explosion blows up my vehicle, and my explosion blows up the Sanchez. Mission passed. Really not sure how that chain reaction started, but we're going to count it. Back to grading the mission givers. A 7-way tie for 7 out of 10. Juan Cortez, Ricardo Diaz, Kent Paul, BJ Smith, Steve Scott, the Malibu Club, I think we were giving it to the cowboy bikini bartender, and then Mr. Black. All of those folks got a 7 out of 10. Very respectable.
Tommy, I had Sonny on the phone, okay? Are you with me? I don't know about you, but there's something about a man threatening to murder my family which really scares the crap out of me. What are you gonna do?
Ken, take it easy.
I am Tom. Tom is a man compete when he's fearing for his life.
Stay off the idiot fuel and look after yourself. No one's gonna take us out. I'll see you later.
I am Tom. Don't I sound Tom? Must be impending death that's doing this to my voice.
So even though that's a post-mission phone call, we actually could have listened to it before we did the mission that we just had. The post-mission phone call we really want is the one that's coming up here. It's a call from Lance Vance, and it's going to unlock the final story mission of the game, Keep Your Friends Close. You'll note that there's a single V on the minimap right there. That's V for Vercetti. There's going to be a second V showing up right after this phone call.
We got big problems. Come down here right away.
Okay, the final mission has been unlocked. Let's go ahead and wrap up rating all of the mission givers. We have 5 folks tied for 8 out of 10. Umberto Rubina, Auntie Poulette, Mitch Baker, Doris, the woman in charge of Kaufman Cabs, and finally, the sweet Ernest Kelly here at the end. And of course, the winner, the cream of the crop, 10 out of 10, the only 10 out of 10 mission giver in the game, is our hero, Tommy Vercetti. So that is going to wrap things up here on this penultimate mission, Cap the Collector. If you have any memories you'd like to share about this particular mission, go ahead and throw them in the comments below. We've got one story mission video left to do. It's what we're going to tackle in the very next video in this series. Can't wait. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon.